wall of this kitchen has black painted glass fibre fabric, which is to be plastered with a method called roller plastering. This means that we will first apply the plaster with a roller. The surface will then be smoothened with a wide filling knife. When done properly, the whole job goes really fast. The tools needed include a roller with a long nap for high capacity, a knife, a filling knife, wide filling knives, extension pole, masking tape, plastic covering, sanding tools, and roller plaster. Remove switches, wires, lamps, and anything else that is in the way. Cover the floor to protect from splashing. Mask the walls and borders carefully with tape. We'll now prepare the wall for plastering, starting with smoothing out any uneven parts, such as screw holes and joints or seams in the glass fibre fabric. To avoid standing on a ladder, it's best to use a sanding tool with a long handle. When finished, all dust must be wiped clean from the wall. Roller plaster is quite viscous, so we'll moisten the roller with water so that it absorbs the plaster more easily. It's important that the roller be only moist and not wet, so wring it out properly. One way is to roll it over a plank of wood. Now we'll start with the enjoyable part. Load the roller with plaster and roll it out flowingly across the wall. In this case, the surface that's to be plastered is quite small, so we can roll out the plaster over the whole wall before starting to work with the wide filling knife. When starting to work with wide filling knives, you must first spread the plaster out to all of the edges, to the parts that you couldn't reach with the roller. Use a less wide filling knife in the tight spaces. Then it's time to use the really wide filling knife with a two-hand grip. Start from the bottom and draw long strokes up towards the middle of the wall. Slant the knife forwards in each stroke. If you slant too much, you won't get any plaster, and if you slant too little, you'll get too much. It's important to get the right feeling. Continue by drawing the wide filling knife from the top edge down towards the middle. Often just one knife stroke isn't enough, so smoothen the surface by drawing the knife one more time. And now it's time for a short break while the plaster dries. The wall must be sanded and dusted before we can roll a new coat of plaster. Apply the plaster one more time in the same way as before. Start with a wide filling knife at the edges. And then work across the wall with the big knife. Smoothen the surface where needed. You don't need to be worried if small uneven parts remain on the plastered wall. They can be easily smoothened with fine sandpaper. The wall is now ready for painting or wallpapering.